Yes guys, welcome from me, Championship Manager 0102, the Game On Challenge. We're well into Season 17 and of course this is Part 17. So, where do I start? So I can't even fire up the game yet because it's going to give spoilers away. If you've already kept up to date with the forums, you'll see that I've already put a post on there, so you'll already know what I'm about to say. Season 17 is off and running, but Season 16, wow, just fucking wow. So I just checked what was on the last update, and we were at the start of Season 16. Just to refresh your memory, I left Borussia Dortmund halfway through Season 15, took over Liverpool, and steadied the ship to finish third in the table, which I was very pleased with, to be fair. Meanwhile, Matt had his second full season at Manchester United and secured the title, retained it, shall I say. Didn't quite do it as convincing as what he would have liked. But nevertheless, start of Season 16 started with both of us looking strong. However, midway through Season 16, there was a huge change. You're now thinking, what? So basically, for me as Liverpool, I'd started really strong. Matt had a tough old start, and typical timing, it was January, the new year, and a certain job came vacant, which one of us actually took, having applied for it. You're now thinking, who's gone? Who's moved? Well, I can tell you that whoever it was returned to a club. Now that could be absolutely any of us going to any club that we've been in charge of. You're still thinking, who is it? Okay, straight into it. It was Matt. Matt fucked off and left Manchester United. I was having a great season for Liverpool, and I think Matt had got to a stage, and I get it, because at the end of the day, you know, he was having a tough season, and it's probably the right time to go. It probably makes it more reluctant to go when you're doing well. So more about Matt in a moment. For me as Liverpool, it was a very tough second half of the season, even with Matt gone, because like a lot of people have said in the past about the ODB, they all seem to start playing really defensive and boring, shitty 4-4-2. But we crossed over the finishing line. And we claimed the title with Liverpool. Which, you know, I was really happy with. Season and a half, and I claimed the title. But I'm getting really fucked off right with this, and it seems to be England, because where Matt went to, he said he weren't getting this problem, but everybody was playing defensive setups, and I know this is an ongoing issue with the ODB. Andrew Vince said years ago this was bullshit, and he's right, it was fucking bullshit. So I was getting pissed off. So after the update, so as we got to July, a certain manager retired, making a job come available for me to make a return. And I did. So, you're now wondering who the fuck is who. Stop fucking around. So I've left Liverpool after a season and a half, and I'm going to have a return to a club. You're all thinking, where are we, aren't you? We're all thinking, where are you? Let me just put out before I tell you, Matt returned to his club, and he secured the title. So Matt secured his 11th league title. The one for Liverpool for me was my 9th. So you're still wondering, who are we? Let's go straight into it. Without further ado, I give to you. Right. It's on the tip of your tongue. You're all guessing. You're guessing, who are we? Who have we gone back to? It's our second stint at each club. The game's taking a little bit longer to restore. We're going to start with Matt, I believe. There's Matt. Matt is back at Borussia Dortmund, and I think, to be fair to Matt, it's the right thing to do. I had an awful time at Borussia Dortmund for a side that looks so fucking invincible. Bear in mind, Matt was at Dortmund before, and I went to Dortmund, and then they came vacant again because they're having a shit season. And Matt, of course, had 7 signings. More about that in a moment, because he took over in January. He could make them even more. Now, as you can see, we've kicked off the new season, so he's made them really immense. It was ridiculous. His strikers alone was Fowler, Shearer, Montilla, and he had George Weah. He sold Weah on an exchange deal with me when at Liverpool, which brought Totti over. The reason why I was happy to get rid of Totti is because his injury proneness was getting on my tits. But anyway, I've left Liverpool, so who gives a fuck about that? So the transfers, he took over in January, I think we said, didn't we? He took over in January, 10th of January, and exactly what happened to me when I took over Dortmund, right? You had to get your 7 signings in ASAP in January because the window shuts and it's not opened again until July, which of course is the next academic year. And when I did it, I lost out on 2 players. Poor Matt, he lost out on 5 players. He only managed to get in 2 players when he arrived. And we'll go to that right now. And that was Steve Thompson and Paulo Montero regen. Then the window shut and he was pissed off. And I get it. I totally get it. His 7 signings for this season. Rustico regen. Not sure if he's good enough personally. Regis Gomez. Not a clue who he is. Again, probably won't be a starter, but it's quality. Totti, as I just said about Totti, his injury proneness gets on my nerves. Materazzi looks solid. Solid centre half. Kuluzny. Brilliant. David Beckham. Now, when he was at Man United, he had a player called Matt Mills. And I asked the question, who is Matt Mills? Somebody said Ray Parlour, which I didn't even think. But I think Matt said he had the details down for David Beckham. And there you see, it is, of course, David Beckham. And he has got his 7th player already coming. And that is, he beat me to him, Roberto Carlos regen on a Bosman. So, Matt then, so far this season, got knocked out the World Championships. But did win the German League Cup on penalties. Yeah, sorry. He did win the German League Cup, which of course, it was a bullshit pre-season for Matt. It really was. But he did win the title, and it was always really close when he took over. They were like 8th, but it was all like points separating them. So credit where it's due to Matt. I would say the objective is going to be the Champions League this season. There's no doubt about that. Okay. So before we go over to me, I should say that I took over a team whose manager retired at the age of 63, who had won the title. So I am in the Champions League. You're still wondering who it is, aren't you? You're still wondering. Are you ready? Are you ready? There we go. We are Paris Saint-Germain. We return to PSG, who have dominated French football. So you can argue what a shit challenge. But let me just give you a quick history recap on Paris Saint-Germain. I took over Paris Saint-Germain right back over here, I think it was. Over here. I won back-to-back titles before leaving. Or was I there for only 1 year, maybe? Yeah, it was only 1 year. Sorry, I won that title. Then Matt took over and lost the title and then got sacked. So there's a little bit of history on Paris Saint-Germain. Plenty of money to spend, or they did have plenty of money to spend, although I've spent a lot of it. I have used my 7 signings. They did already have a couple of players, Iluano regen, Candela regen. The most recent player that I bought was that guy. It was either Mendieta or Di Biagio. Absolute solid. But my 7 signings, Edmundo. Now, Edmundo, I was trying to get at Liverpool, but he chose Paris Saint-Germain. So he signed for PSG before I took over. So he didn't count, of course, as part of my 7. Peruzzi was my first player. Neil Clare, the fuck knows who, unknown Libyan midfield centre, was available. But that weren't the marquee signing. It was definitely the regen of Andrei Shevchenko. What a player. Wayne Allen, I wish I hadn't bought him. I really do wish I hadn't bought him, because at this point, I had 2 players left, and I had to choose Thuram or Cannavaro. Now, Cannavaro was at Man United, and he was he'd had a shit last couple of seasons. I'll show you that in a moment. So I went with Thuram, even though Cannavaro looks better, no doubt about that. Di Biagio, I had to choose him or Mendieta at Man United. So just with that in mind, really, really quickly. So you just saw, I mean, you could say, why didn't I go for Cannavaro? The reason I didn't is because of his last 3 seasons. Awful. I had to be realistic. Mendieta, there was a big difference in price on the Mendieta deal. He was going to cost me 19 million, and that Di Biagio deal cost me £5 million. So the start of the season is off and running. Not the most convincing start from us. I think we've had something like 3 red cards already in 4 games, or in 5 games, including that Charity Shield. I didn't realise I had a friendly, so I had to play that. So, yeah, we're off and running. And that is the Champions League, PSV. And as for Matt, let's take a look at Matt, who he's got in the Champions League and how he's flared up so far this season. So yeah, he's had a few tough results, 4-3 the 5-1 defeat against the Brazilian side. But the Champions League, yeah, you'd fancy him indeed. Back to me. As I said, there was a lot of money to spend. Not the biggest stadium in the world, but who gives a shit? And of course, as a couple of old favourites here who are still in contract till the end of the year, Jermaine Defoe. Where is he? Where is he? Hershey. And there was another one. It was this guy, Ashley Life. Is it Life? So they're all, including the backup goalkeeper as well, Mikael Muller. So they're all 34, 35. They'll all play a season, and we'll see how we go. That's my current setup. I have chopped and changed so many times. It's unbelievable. It really is. So, you know, we're into season 17 now. I mean, there is going to be a time when I'm not going to be able to play any game time. It's coming up soon. So we're trying to get as much time as we can before we have to have a big pause. Oh, Ortega was already here as well. Sorry, I should have pointed that out. So, we've both got, I need to make an assault in the Champions League. Matt will feel he needs to as well. Quick look at Matt. I pointed this out on one of our previous videos and somebody else's video. Dortmund Stadium, 151,400. It is clearly a bug in the game, but who gives a shit? But and I'm sure he's got money. I'm sure he's rich. So he's rich as well. But he's got a great setup. Del Piero, Rivaldo, Figo, Totti, Ricken, Koluzny, Maldini, Pierce, Montero, Khan. Khan, injury prone is quite high on him as well. He's had a bit of a tough start, hasn't he? So, you know, it's going to be a fun season, I feel. Whether we'll both stay, who knows? You know, in terms of, let's have a quick look at Matt. I know we've been on this before. Let's have a look at his, looking good, apart from his adaptability, which is probably right, really, because none of us really stay very long. And in terms of his jobs, there you see, Leeds, Paris Saint-Germain before being sacked, Dortmund in 05, Ajax in 09, Inter, Real Madrid, Manchester United, Dortmund. So, in terms of Matt hasn't succeeded in France, has done it in England twice, Holland, Italy, and done it in Germany twice and Spain. So a big well done to you. And on to me. Let's have a look at my profile. There's my profile, similar to Matt's. Adaptability is what's shit there. And we started Liverpool. We did it with Liverpool. We did it with PSG. We did it with Valencia. We did it with Lazio. We did it with PSV again. PSV. So within the first 7 seasons or 8 seasons or whatever, we did really well. I think it was 8 seasons, weren't it? Yeah. Leeds. We went to Leeds. We had a season at Leeds. We did it again with Leeds. Porto. Porto was a tough fucking challenge, but we finally crossed the line with Porto. We did it back at PSV. We didn't succeed at Dortmund. And as you can see, we were in Dortmund for close to 2 seasons before we left, and it was a really tough time. My objective maybe is to go back to Germany at some point. Apart from Bayern Munich, they can fuck themselves. But yeah, it's quite a glorious career, I think it's fair to say. So that is where we're at then, guys. The Champions League last season, Matt was absolutely shocked in that. He really was shocked, and as you can see, he was thrashed 3-0 at home to Copenhagen. I mean, look at that, they've got Chiesa there. Absolutely, he was absolutely gobsmacked, and the second leg, it was only a goalless draw, so he was eliminated at the quarter-finals. Now, a quick one for you with regards to the Champions League. So Matt obviously didn't win it back in 16 because he wasn't in charge then, but look who won it the season before Dortmund. RWDM of Belgium, which is an open league, may I add, who, funnily enough, they didn't actually even finish in the top 3 that season, so it was absolutely bizarre to see such a team win the Champions League. In terms of, let's take a look at league counts then. I think we went to Matt's, didn't we? 9, 14, yeah, Matt's certainly been the more glorious manager. No doubt about that. And if we just go back to Matt's on that. I forget what we said. Yeah, 11, 17, and 9-14. So there's still a lot in it, really, to be fair. So that is our Game On challenge, guys. You know, still continuing to keep us entertained. The regens are getting far and far between now. The regens I'm not really fussed about, to be honest with you. It's all about really making another assault on the title. You'd fancy me to win the title, there's no doubt about that. I think when Nantes won it, I think they've got a lot of money, Nantes. Could be a worthy choice if Matt ever decides to return to France. I think Matt's going to have to return to France at some point, and I feel that I've got to return to Germany, whoever it may be as. It'd be very interesting. So that's it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time from me, guys, take it easy.